What's up, guys, and welcome to Joseph's Bizarre Adventure, where I buy, sell, and thrift my way to financial independence from a 9 to 5. So today I've got a heck of a video for you. It's probably going to end up being about an hour long. I'm going to have some various channels. I'm going to have some various chapters down below, so you can skip through if there's a certain part that you're interested in or others that you think you have down. But it's going to be all about my process on how I process clothing. I buy, sell, and thrift things from thrift stores, from garage sales, online auctions, various places. But I think the problem that a lot of people come with when they first start out in this is getting a good process together on how they get through their clothing and get it online, or get through their items and get those items online. It's all well and good to go buy as much as you want and all these things. You've got all these ideas on how much you're going to make off of this and what you paid for it, but until you get it onto the internet, you can never make any money. If nobody can see that item, have the ability to purchase that item, it's worth nothing. So, I can tell you, I've got plenty of things to go through, but this is the absolute best process I've come across, and the most streamlined process I've come across on how I process my clothing. So it's going to be a 5-step process, but I'll get into that right now. Before we get into step one, I do have a couple of prerequisites that I will say you really want to have if you're going to do this, that aren't too budgetarily, if that's even a word, hard on you, right? Some things that I find are pretty much requirements to do something like this in a efficient, organized manner are going to be, first off, you'll need some sort of way to store your items. These are bags that I get from Uline. They're going to be 1 mil, which is the thickness. You don't need something very thick, and you'll find, I buy from Uline, you'll find the thicker that you go with these bags, the more expensive they get. And we want to keep costs down in any way that we can. So I like to get a few different types of sizes. These are going to be for what I do, which is coats, jackets, pants, t-shirts, shoes, any items like that. These I've found fit pretty much any item I might need when it comes to the normal things that I buy and sell. So I get these clear bags. This right here is a 12 by 16. They're open on one end, closed on the other end, and they're just 1 mil, 12 by 16 clear bags. I'll put a link to those down below. They cost me about 5.1 cents before shipping each. If you get them in bulk, you can get them around 6 to 7 cents each. Very cheap. And when it comes down to the long term of it, it's going to help you in the long run. These are going to help keep your items the same exact way they are when you take these photos, which is very important for customer service. If somebody wants to buy something from you, they expect it to look like what it looked like when you took those photos. Lots of people like to store things in drawers and hang things and do various things like that, and that's all well and good and all, but I can guarantee once I take these photos and I store them in the bag, like I'll show you here in just a moment, there's nothing's going to change about these items in these bags. They're going to be exactly like they were when I took the photos, and you're going to be able to speak to, if somebody says, well, so-and-so, this is this and this is that, you can look back at your photos, and if it wasn't in the photo, you can almost guarantee nothing changed while it was in this bag, and you can speak to your stuff better. You're going to want some ability to do labels. I'll have another video later on how I do sequential labels here. I have 2 different label printers personally. You can only use one. I would buy a label printer that will support a 4x6 label, because it just makes life so much easier when it comes to shipping out your items. When you sell something, you buy your label, you print your 4x6, you put it on the top of your poly bag. Everything's good to go. When you head to the post office, you're not a headache for them doing these QR codes, because you want to do volume. We're not doing 1 or 2 things at a time. We want to sell a lot of things. If you're selling a lot of things, doing the QR codes makes it very hard to keep up with. So we're going to do it that way. Or you want to have, personally, if you get a 4x6 label, one that's capable of printing 4x6s, you can also get something like these 2x3s. I think that's a 1x3 or a 2x3. There's a myriad of them in between 4x6 or lower than 4x6 that you can do. As long as you can print 4 or 5 little numbers on there, that's all that matters. And then you want a system. Personally, the way I do my system is, or you want bins. Another thing you want there is bins to put your items in. I'll show you that here in just a moment. You want some tape. I get eBay's tape. I have a $60 a month eBay account or eBay store. They give me $50 every month or every quarter, not month, every quarter to spend on shipping supplies. I've got some other tips that I'll put in a later video on how to get some free shipping supplies. And the only thing that I've yet to find out how to get free is tape. So that's what I spend my eBay allowance on every quarter. I give you $50 every quarter to spend on that. I've got a box full of this tape. I won't run out for a whole year, but I'm going to keep using my allowance up every quarter, and I'll end up with quite a supply of this stuff before it's over with. But you need some tape. You need your bags. You need a labeling system so that you can take label after label after label and skew your items one after another so you can keep up with your items, and when they sell you'll be able to turn around and pick them up, put them in one of a couple of different sized poly bags that you'll have. Another one that I'm going to include in that cheap tips and tricks video is how to get free USPS ground bags. I don't pay anything for those. And you can use those for pretty much everything. They add a little bit of weight, so I do personally buy these to use some of my smaller things to save on shipping. An ounce can matter a lot of times in some of these things. USPS has gotten very expensive with their stuff, but they're still the cheapest, so I still have to use them. I like to keep a lint roller around as I go through and take photos. Lint roll things, that's kind of a me thing, but it's a good thing to have around, I can tell you that. And then you want some way to seal these bags. Personally, I've got a very good method that I'll show you here that I use to seal my bags where you don't have to have any expensive equipment. Actually, you can buy broken equipment or either equipment you more than likely have around your home right now, and use that to seal these bags. It's kind of a hack. So let me show you real quick about it. This is a food saver. This is going to be the game outdoor edition. Doesn't really matter which one it is. You just want a larger one that'll accommodate these larger bags. But I use these, as I'll show you here in just a little bit, to seal my bags up so that I can ensure that these items are exactly the way they are when I take these photos. But you'll want something like this. You can find these even with the compressors broken on them. You do not need the vacuum sealing function. You just need it to seal. You can buy them used from the thrift store. I bought mine used, I do believe, or I bought it on this one on sale. I've got another one I bought used, but works perfect for what you're trying to do. And I'll show you how that works here in just a bit. But last and most importantly, you're going to want a good phone that takes good pictures. Personally, it doesn't have to be something crazy new. I have an iPhone 12 Pro. They run, if you don't have something comparable to that, the iPhone 12. And I'll say this too, I have personally, I don't know, I keep saying that, but I have found, I know the whole Android iPhone thing, at least for this process and what you're doing, iPhone works the absolute best. So you want an iPhone, preferably 12 Pro, or a Pro version is really what you want for the photo quality of whichever version you get, but 12 and above would be probably the minimum at this point. Like I said, a 12 Pro will probably, I think at a minimum run you, or at a maximum run you about $300-400 now in the US. So not too much of a barrier to entry, and it's your phone too. You can use it as a phone. But on the other side, you need a computer to do this. You don't want to do this solely on your phone. The process that I have works best combined with a phone and a computer, and I'll show you on both of those how I go about doing what I do to make it more streamlined. PC is preferential, but you can probably make this work on a Mac. I just don't know how it works. I only use PCs when it comes to my computers. A Windows-based PC, that is. A phone and a PC is going to be also something you want to get a hold of. But that's really about it for prerequisites for items that you're going to want to have. Well, the only other thing you'll need is to source things. Hopefully, I'll have some videos up later on how I source my items, where I source my items at. I'm not doing a lot of sourcing right now. As you can see, I've got a pretty big bed of death piles here. Another thing you don't want to do, don't buy too much. Get through what you have, then move on. Put it online. Nobody can buy it if it's not online, and you're never going to get it online if you keep buying stuff. That's just a quick tip there. But once you have a little bit of all these things together, you can implement this and streamline your process. So let's get right into it. So step one, I'll show you over on the computer. So what you're going to do is you're going to come on over, first things first, and set up your step one here, which is your drafts. You're going to head on over to eBay. We'll go on to a fresh page of eBay here. And we're going to go over to our selling hub, which is going to be, you can come up here to the My eBay section. There's a few ways to get here, but this is how I do it. Go to the My eBay section. You're going to go to selling. If you have a store, now I will say this may look a little different. If you don't have an eBay store, I would highly suggest it. The lowest tier of that is $4.99 a month. But it's going to give you a lot of customization options on eBay, and it's going to give you the ability to have more listings without having to pay per listing. You only get so many of them monthly for free, but it's definitely the best value. So get you an eBay store, and then come on over to this section. So once you go to here, you're going to have some tabs up here at the top. We're going to head over to listings, and we're going to head over to drafts. And then once we get over here to drafts, we're going to head down to listing templates. This is going to be if you're starting from the very beginning. If you've already got your eBay listing templates, which is possible that you do, you can skip this step. This is just what I like to do. So we're going to come on over to here, and we're going to create a template. So you can see I've got a bunch of templates here. And what we'll do here is we'll go to edit on jeans, but I do a lot of the same things over and over again. I do a lot of jeans, as you can see, jackets, do some hats. I've got one for most of the things that I find that I sell online. Some of the main things would be jeans. So we'll go here. Let's say if you went up there to create a list or create a template, this is what you're going to come across. And a quick tip for this is you're going to want to keep this as generic as possible and all applying to every jean that you're going to come across and you're going to put. We're going to put in more specific information at a later step. Like I said, it's all about the flow here. It's all about doing this in phases. And this is you want to be as generic on this portion as possible so you don't have to remove anything when you're using these templates. They're going to apply to everything, and you'll put in the specific to that item information at a later step. So you're going to go to here. Let's say we're doing jeans. You're going to put up here in the template section what you're doing. This is just for you. No one's going to see this. So just so you know which one you're picking, we're going to say men's jeans. We're going to come down to here. Now, this is something that you're going to see, that the customer is going to see. We just want this to be very generic because when we create these drafts, we want to know which ones we're looking for, and I'll show you a little bit later on why this matters the way I put this. You want to put it like this. So whatever the item is first, then whatever the gender is next if you're doing clothing. I find this the easiest way because if I am going to sit here and do a pile of various different clothing, I can search in the drafts, like I'll show you in just a little bit, for jeans in particular, and I'll see every one that I haven't done that has jeans on it, and it'll look a little, it'll make a little bit more sense later on. But then I put the gender next so that when I'm doing my flow, I can, and we don't want to fill this in now, but I can put in the size right after that. And then you always want to have, just for a quick tip, the brand first. It just makes the whole process easier, I find, doing it this way. So Hollister jeans, men's 28. That's just the flow that you want to use there, or the order you want to put these in. But you're not going to put that on there. We're just going to put jeans, men's, as generic as possible. You want to pick the item category. This will automatically be, I believe, antiques when you start out on a template. So you want to change that to whichever one you're doing. You're doing jeans. You want to put jeans. You're doing men's jeans. You want to do men's jeans here like this. We're not going to fill any of this in. Some of this applies to everything, not all of it. We don't want anything to go to a listing that it doesn't apply to. So just skip that. Skip all this. You can fill this in if you want. I have this for pre-owned jeans. I do more pre-owned than I do new. I usually just turn around and change this if I do a new pair, and it's just easier that way. What you want to do here, and I actually have a new one. I need to update this, so this is actually good. But keep it simple, in my opinion. Do a little quick draft of your jeans. If you want to put the dimensions or the measurements in your description, I find that nobody reads it, to be totally honest. I wouldn't. I'd just put a little thing here, a little bit about us. We're husband and wife that do this. a little bit how we handle our stuff, where we're located, and oh goodness, better fix that real quick. I wonder how many I have that's misspelled on. But your business is greatly appreciated, blah, blah, blah. So this does apply to everything. I keep this generic, so I put that in the description. Leave this blank. Do always allow offers. That is going to, eBay has come out and outright said that they prefer you to do this. So if they prefer it, they'll show you better in the listings over it. And they've actually said that they do that. Even if you just don't accept the offers that you're sent, just allow it. You never know. Somebody might send you like $1 off of something. I have it all the time. Or somebody sends me some like small amount off of an item, and heck yeah, I'll take that. I always price in a little bit of haggle room because people like to get a deal. You want to put your shipping policy. A lot of times this applies across. So right now I'm doing some experimenting with flat rate shipping. I did do calculated, but the prices are getting so high on calculated that I've moved over to doing some testing on flat rate. I find that in my experience, I'm going to pay anywhere from it's usually about $7 up to about $10. For shipping on jeans across the country. If they're going to California, I'm going to end up paying around, $9-10, depending on how heavy they are. And you can adjust this, but you want to go ahead and put some weights of typical jeans or whatever. This is a little high, but it really is irrelevant if you're going to do flat shipping. If you're going to do calculated, you want to get this a little bit closer, maybe to the 2 range, but there's different tiers, and you'll over time find out what works best for you when it comes to this. I might make a video later on some suggestions on this, but you can go ahead and fill this in. This may apply across a lot of different of those items in that same category. Country of origin, leave it alone. And then you always want to, on eBay, offer returns. You don't want to deal with INAD. I can go into that later on if you have any questions on what an INAD is, but you're begging for them if you do not do returns. You don't have to do paid, like buyer or seller paid returns, but you have to at least offer buyer paid returns. Believe me, it just doesn't work not doing that. And then once you're there, you want to hit save your template. Once you save your template, it's going to pop up over to here. And once you come over to here, what you're going to do next is, for whatever you're doing, you're going to get all your templates together. Do that for everything that you're going to be processing. And you want to do that. You want to go ahead and do that in the beginning so that you don't have to do it again later on. But go ahead and get your templates together for what you're going to be processing up front there. And then go ahead and create a listing. So once you create it, you're going to come back to here. Every time you run out of drafts, you're going to come back to here and just hit that button, create a listing. And we're going to go all the way down. See, all this information that we put in earlier is going to be all already typed in. And we're going to go over here and we're going to say save for later. Once we hit save for later, we're going to come over to here and we're going to see that this has popped up. This is the draft section now. We're going to see that our new draft that we just made has popped up. From there, if you've got a pile of jeans, we're going to hit here. We're going to hit create a copy. Once you hit create a copy, we're going to put in, you got like 10, 15 pair. Go ahead and put 10 and hit OK. Don't have these checked. It's really kind of irrelevant, but don't have these checked. Hit OK. And once you do that, you'll have all these. This is going to be, I think I hit 15 just a moment ago. This is going to be every one of the ones that you're going to sit and do and move on to the next step. So if you've got some jeans that you're doing, you got some t-shirts that you're doing, you've got some pants that you're doing, go ahead and get all your drafts together. Get about 10, 15 of each in here. They expire after a little bit of time, but who cares if you don't have the information in? Who cares if they expire? It makes it easier when we get to this next step of taking these photos to have a nice big variety of extra drafts ready to go in the arsenal so that you don't have to keep walking back and forth from your computer over to your phone. Another quick point to this that I'll go ahead and say, this is the reason why you need a computer and a phone. You cannot create templates, and you cannot, unfortunately, make a draft from a template from the phone. This is a item that is only accessible from a computer. So this is why we're doing all of this section on the computer. But once we do that, we're going to move on over to the next step, which is going to be to take your photos. So we're going to pop back over to the photo area. I'm going to show you how I go about that. All right, guys, so now we're going to be back over here at the photo section to step 2, which is going to be to take your actual photos of your items. Once again, we're going to do this all in phases. So we want to go through and do each phase one at a time so we can kind of get in a groove and knock it out. All right, so for phase two, we're gonna be taking photos and getting our bins together or storing our items. We're gonna need for this step our labels. I'm using, like I said, I'm using bin system. So we're on bin number AE right now. And on bin number AE, we are up to right now I've taken 172 photos of 172 items so far. 171, we're on 172 right now. Let me pull this back a little bit. There we go, make it a little easier there. So what we're gonna need is this. We're gonna need your labels. And you can just write these out individually. You can buy rolls of labels and write them out individually. I suggest getting a printer, and I'll have a video on how to use Avery Label to do these in succession very quickly and streamline your process. Instead of having to sit there and type out each individual one, you press a button, it has the suffix, and then it automatically does numerically climbing or suffix. I'm sorry, you have your prefix and then your numerically climbing suffix, which is going to be the number section here. I can show you, like I said, I'll have another video up about all that if you get to this kind of a level where you're using label printers like this. But I would suggest it. It's not if you're going to do it full time, it's not a very expensive investment, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. You're going to need your tape, and then you're going to need your bags, your U-line bags. So I'm going to take this. I have these over to the side. I've made myself a little pouch. It's a little janky. It actually came off of a crib. But I kind of keep my little sections of things in here, my lint rollers, my bags in here. These don't go in here, and got to do a little bit of cleanup. But that's what I keep in there. And then I keep my, when I'm doing this, I keep this right here to keep it from getting stuck to things. But it's kind of the place where it rests. But here we go. From here, we're going to do our photos. Now, you're going to see me holding my phone up and acting like I'm doing a thing or two. I'm not going to actually do it on this phone. Unfortunately, the phone that I'm filming on right now is the one that I do all this on, and this old phone is not so good about all that. But the cool news is you should see on this side my screen. I'm going to take some CAPTCHA of an actual iPhone screen and have it up so you can see exactly how the process looks as we go through here. But what I'm doing on here is kind of just for looks on the actual phone that I'm holding. So you can kind of get an idea of the process. But we'll go ahead and grab our first item. We'll do a pair of shorts real quick. So we'll get our shorts here. We'll lay them out real nice. Maybe look them over a little bit. We'll see we got a little bit of a boo-boo there. We need to make sure that we point out. Got a little bit of nothing on the back. Have a look through them. They're lined. Keep that in mind. Various things when you're doing it so you can remember to take a photo of it so that you can make sure you get all the pertinent information over to the person who wants to buy them. These, unfortunately, we're missing a tag in there, so we're going to have to do some looking up on some sizing later on, but just kind of get everything going there. We'll flatten those out real good, and how I like to do it is I like to take my phone, head on over to eBay. Once we go over to eBay, pull up my draft that I've got there, and I like to, this is the easiest way to do it, so you'll see me here. We're going to go on over to drafts. We're going to go on over to there's going to be a search bar right up here, hitting that search bar. And if you've got a bunch of drafts already done, like we just had, we've got them all put in there, we'll just type in shorts and we'll pull up a blank draft for shorts. We're going to hit that and hit our photos for shorts. Then from there, we're going to go ahead and start taking our photos. So we're going to, you want to make sure that you're using the square section here. You can hit this button right here on eBay, and it's going to change it over to a square. eBay prefers squares. You want to do what eBay prefers because it's going to give you an edge when it comes to other listings if they're not doing it the way eBay prefers. All right, this can all be changed later on too when we go over to our photo editing section. If you're going to do more of Depop or one of these other sites, eBay's my main site. So we're going to take our main photo first. If we've got any kind of blemishes, you want to make sure you're pointing those out. I don't know where my thing is right now. I usually put I typically a marker down. Here's one. You can get a bunch of different things. You can get a hold of some pointers and some different stuff like that to point things out. You ain't got to get crazy with it. We're doing this as cheap as we can. So take a picture of any blemishes that you see there after your main photo. Then, like I said, these are missing a tag, but you want to take your tag photo next. Just a quick tip, if you're doing shorts and you're doing shorts that are lined, you want to show, well, these are sort of lined. These are a weirdo, but you want to kind of show the interior there too if it's different. Get a picture of that. You want to make sure that you stay, for the purposes of cross-listing, since Facebook and Depop does not support more than 10 photos, we want the best photos, the photos that are the most pertinent, to be in those first 10 photos. You can take more photos than that, but we want the ones that you have to have in those first 10 photos, which is a front picture, a back picture, picture of the tag, picture of any blemishes, and then, like I said, I'm gonna take my back photo real quick, and then you can fill in the rest of those photos with whatever you like. Personally, I like to keep it simple. We want to get through this as quick as we can. I do also recommend you do on different things. I'll do another video later on the ones that I suggest for each type of item when it comes to clothing. If you guys are interested in that, leave me a comment and I'll do a little video on that if there's enough want for that. But I personally, on shorts, always take an inseam photo. It's one of the things that I most requested out of measurements. I like to take a leg opening photo, another one of the most requested. And then especially for these stretchy type of pants, you want to get a good photo of the waistline. This is going to prevent having to bust these things back out later on and get measurements and photos for somebody who needs additional ones. So front photo, back photo, tag photo, blemish photo, anything that you see that's a flaw, and then inseam, leg opening, waist. That's what I like to do for shorts personally. Okay, once we get all of our photos, we're gonna proceed to folding our item up. I have a way that, and once again, this could be another video if anybody's really interested in it. This is how I personally fold shorts. I learned this in the military, or I've got a little spin on it from what I learned in the military, but I like things to look neat and nice, and I like everything to fit a very certain way. But I'll take these, I'll fold them over that way, I'll fold them over this way, and then I'll get a nice crisp fold in this direction, and bada boom, bada bing, there she blows. A nice tight, this also matters for, you want these to be as tight, and for wrinkling, you don't want them to be, because this keeps out wrinkles the way I just folded it. It creates fewer wrinkles that way. It kind of keeps it, you see it taut like that. And then it'll also, you want as small of a footprint as possible when it comes to shipping. It's going to save you money. It's going to make it to where you can offer things for better prices, because you're not all spread out all over the place for your stuff. You can put in the exact dimensions and get the cheapest rates possible when it comes to, personally, I only ship through USPS. But I do have some smaller bags. I'll use those on this. These are my shorts bags. I can put the dimensions in the up here, but I believe this is going to be like maybe an 8x10 or something like that. I'm going to take these. I'm going to slip these in here. And then what I like to do next is seal it. And I'll roll over to my sealing station here. This is where this puppy is going to come in handy. And a real quick tip for this, I'll show you. So this works for anything you're doing. You want to leave some extra space at the end of the bag here. And you're going to pop this puppy open. This is the big tip. You want to, when you put this in here, there's a section, you want this little piece right here to overhang just a bit. You don't want it all to get sealed. You want it to hang it out on the outside just a bit. Put it down, hit seal, and then you don't want to hit vacuum seal. Like I said before, these bags are not made for that. It won't vacuum seal. It's just going to be loud and you're going to be waiting for nothing. But pop it open. Now you've got your seal, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So I've got a section right here. You see I've left a little bit of space right there. It's going to come in handy on this part right here. So from there, I like to take this. I like to go ahead, and this is, there's a reason why I do this in this way. I like to take AE1, so I'm gonna take my next one in line, and all this time, I've still got my photos up on my screen. I'm not done with this listing yet. So I'm gonna hit finish on the photos, and I'm just gonna be sitting on the listing. I'll show you like right here. Then I'm gonna take this, hold it like this, fold it over, so this is clear. You can still see that label, right? Fold it over the label. This is why we leave that little space right there that lets us let the excess air out. Now you gotta be careful, you don't wanna fold up your label there like that, but you wanna let all that excess air out. You don't wanna take up more room in your bin than you have to. You don't want a bunch of excess bins just full of a bunch of air. You want them filled with exactly all the products you can, so you can store it in a smaller amount of space. So I like to take that there. That's where your tape comes in handy. It's good to have a good tape roll. Buy one time, you don't have to buy it again. These last forever. But you're gonna take that there. We're gonna put it, not fold it over on me, but put a little bit on the lip, have a little bit overhanging, and I'll let out a little bit more air there, fold it over, bada boom, bada bing, a nice tight, nicely sealed, ready to go listing. So from here, I'm gonna take this number, and I'm gonna show you over here on the side. We're gonna put this in, you're gonna go to item details or item specifics, go all the way down to the bottom to item SKU, and then on that SKU, you're gonna type in your SKU. So I'm in bin number AE. If I look at the side of my bin, like I showed you a moment ago, bin number AE, and then I'm gonna put on whatever number I'm up to here. So they're all sequential. There's only one ever used in this bin. I'm just gonna keep going up and up and up and up and up in numbers every time I go to the next one. So 172. So when this sells, eBay is gonna alert me and say, you sold this pair of shorts, SKU number AE172. And I'm just gonna come on over to this bin, and I'm gonna dig around, and I'm gonna say, okay, oh, there it is, AE172. And when I wake up in the morning, I process all my shippings all at one time. I'm gonna go grab up all my shippings, set them out here, and then print off all my labels, go through, get this. I'm gonna slip it in one of the, I have, like I said, 3 different corresponding sizes. Slip it in the one that matters most or that fits it best. There's actually a smaller one that I used to carry. I'm out of them right now, but this one right here will do. This is how I like to ship it. So if let's say I'm shipping this out, slip it down in there. I like to slip in my little thank you prize. I have little balls. I do some 3D printing. I'll slip in one of those. My little thank you gift. Put it over to the side there. That's just a me thing there. Yeah, if we had enough questions about it, I can kind of tell you what I do with it. But I like to roll it up real tight, kind of like we did that other. You're gonna pull off the sticky, stick it right to there, and when you do that, you'll have a nice small form factor ready to ship order. And then you're gonna take your 4x6 labels. This will fit a 4x6 label just right. And it's nice and stiff enough to where it'll keep that barcode easily readable, which matters. You don't want things to go missing in shipping. So that's gonna help you out a lot there. But obviously we're not doing this after we process it. I'm just kind of showing you later on down the line. But once you do one of these, we're gonna put that SKU in, we're gonna back out of that listing, and we're gonna go back to our list of drafts. Then we're gonna grab another item and rinse and repeat. Let's say the next thing up, I'll do a long sleeve button up shirt. I'll lay it out. Take all the photos of it. Wrap it all up. Once I wrap it all up, I'll move on over to the SKU, put my SKU in, and I just keep doing that until I get through a certain amount. I like to set myself a little goal of 10, 15 a day. I'll do 10, 15 of them. Then I'll move on to the next step, which is step 3. And that's gonna be buttoning up the actual listing itself. And we'll move on over to there now. And we're gonna do all of that section. It's easier to do on the computer. So we're gonna move on over to the computer for step 3, which is finishing the draft. All right, so now we're gonna move over to step 3, back onto the computer here. And we're gonna finish up our drafts that we've got done. So I've got some done that I need to finish up right here. And how you're going to get to here is we're going to go over to drafts, and you'll see everything you've been working on. Like we showed earlier, we're going to have, it's just going to be generic right now. We're going to select everything that we're wanting to finish up. Let's say we finished up with what we're wanting to take photos of today. We're going to hit resume drafts. We're going to hit continue here. I was doing something earlier. It doesn't matter. So we're going to pull on over to here. So I've got all my listings that I've photoed up, and I've put all my labels in. And then I'm going to go here, and you're going to do these one by one. This is how I've found that works the best way. Let eBay do the heavy lifting. So you're going to hit the edit button. We're going to scroll down, and we're going to, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the title together. These are, I believe, they're going to be like Y2K. We'll just go ahead and say they are. I'll go back and change it if not. That's a good keyword these days. Y2K is selling pretty hot. But these are Wrangler jean shorts. They are going to be, they're like a carpenter style. They have a, and I can always go through here and reference my photos because I took good photos. These are like a carpenter style or a utility style, so I'm going to use those. You want to, another quick tip here is you want to fill in as much of your 80 characters as you possibly can. It's going to help you on this next step that I'm going to show you. So jean shorts, carpenter. Jorts is also a keyword these days. I'm going to hit jorts, which stands for jean shorts. People are using that to search these days. They're going to be a men's, and you want to put your sizing. And it really matters. You want to go ahead, and you always want to include your inseam, which is going to be a 10 on these. And we're going to include our, let's see here, our waist size. So these are going to be a 32. Let's make sure that that checks. Yeah, so they're a 32, and they are carpenter. You can see that there. You know, you use what you have. Utilities, another word. I'll go ahead and put that in there too. It's another keyword these days. But they're a men's 32x10. And you want to separate this off, and I'll show you why. Because you want eBay to do your heavy lifting. Let's say I'm going to fill in the rest of my stuff. Med wash, like a medium wash. We're going to hit blue jean shorts. Just kind of adjust and get as much as you can. We're at 76 out of 80. That'll do for now. I would go through and optimize this a little bit better. But here is the key thing right here. You want to kind of backspace and enter. Why you want to do that? Looky here. All of these things. eBay is going to collect all that information from that title and hit apply all. I mean, you might want to take a little quick look down. I usually find this is highly accurate. eBay does a great job of doing what they can from the photos and the title to give it as much information as possible. Hit apply all. Look at that. These are your required items. We're going to say, I think the closest thing here, they're really kind of Bermuda. We're going to hit cargo. They're the most applicable here. That does have a little extra cargo. They're not really cargo, but we won't get into all that. Sometimes don't get hung up in this. Do as best as you can. You can always go back if you're finding that you're not getting the right clicks or somebody's complaining about it's not this or that. You'll learn over time what you need to do when it comes to putting these in here, but these have to be filled in. But it also fills in a bunch of this stuff. And if you see some stuff where it kind of suggests things, go ahead and click it. The more you fill in here, the better for you. Kind of look it over a little bit, make sure everything looks good. If you have any flaws, you'll go ahead and type in your flaws in the item condition there. If not, you'll leave it as good, excellent, whatever you're going to put there. These are in great condition, so I'm going to put excellent. I've got to, like I said, I changed this recently, so I'll go ahead and change that. I need to change my template so I don't have to do that every time. That's something that's just pre-filled in, but we'll go down, keep checking out. Now you're going to get to the price. This is how I do my pricing. I like to, you want to use as little information as you possibly can from this. And you want to come on over to another tab. And I'll tell you too, preferably, the best way to go about this is an incognito tab. Because eBay will do a little bit of lying to you if it knows what you've been searching on. This is the best way to get an unbiased eBay approach here. So we're just going to be a completely not signed in, totally fresh incognito tab. We're going to say Wrangler blue jean shorts. All right, then we're going to look through here. Another whole nother video would be on your how to get your sell-through rating, but there's 29,000 listed. I might go ahead and put Y2K and see if that kind of dims it down a little bit. Yeah, 2,000. I'll use that, and then I'm going to come on down to sold. 2,000 listed, 345 sold. Not a lot of really good sell-through rate on this, but I mean, I paid like $1 for these. So if I can get anywhere near any of these rates, we'll be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and price them somewhere towards the middle. You know, keep in mind some of these titles. This will help you out. You know, if you're seeing some things pop up left and right that are consistent, I mean, that kind of tells you something. You might want to include those things in your titles. But I'm going to use some of this. I'm going to say, I was thinking about $12 to $15. I've got some coupons running right now, so I'm going to hold on to the 15 range. But I'm going to go ahead and price my item now, right? So we're going to come on over to here. And I can always work this down or put it on sale later on if I need to. I'll make sure allowed offers is on. I'll adjust this sometimes. So these, I'll go ahead and I'll adjust to my $6.99 flat for these. I know it's going to be somewhere in that area to ship them, depending. And then I'm going to put it in the country of origin if you have it. If you took that picture, that's why you want to take pictures of the tags. Nah, I can't really see where these are from, but I'd put that in if I had it. And then you'll go ahead and pick your ad range, whatever you end up doing there. That's a whole nother thing I'm doing some experimentation on. We'll find out on how much that really matters at the end of the day. But bam, a blue one is going to tell me it's because I don't have the, you can look through here, it's because I don't have the country of origin. You don't have to have that. As long as it's not red, this is a completed listing as far as what you would need to actually post it, which is what matters. So you'll do that, and we'll come through here. And we're going to do that for each individual one. We're going to finish all of these out doing exactly like I just showed you. One by one, we'll do all that, boom, do all that, boom. But the main and obvious thing that I want you to remember is let eBay do the heavy lifting. Make your initial title, Polo, Ralph Lauren, Chino shorts. I think these were like 90s Y2K in that era. So I'll hit Y2K, vintage, and then Polo, Ralph Lauren, Chino shorts. This is going to be this is something to keep in mind. This is a lot of 2. I like to make sure I have that in there. Actually, these are a specific thing. So these are Polo Golf, and these are fairway shorts. So I'll put that in here, just kind of show you, and I'll show you why this makes it so much easier. Polo, Ralph Lauren, Golf, or let's just put Polo Golf. Golf, Ralph Lauren for the extra verbiage in there. These are fairway, Chino shorts, a lot of 2. White, beige. I'm running out of characters. You get the idea. But the main. Oh yeah, I better put the size. That's what matters. These are a 38, I believe. Yeah, these are 2 pair of 38s. So we're gonna say men's. After men's, we're gonna put 38. That's why you want to always have men's in there, because you can just put the sizing after that, and it makes it easy. And then I didn't take a dang inseam picture for this one. I should have done that. That's a boo-boo, but if I did, I would have put it in there. Inseams aren't required for shorts, so we'll be able to still push this through. But bam, looky there. If I do it that way and hit apply all, it's going to get as much as it possibly can for me. And like I said, this is very accurate from my findings. Don't trust it implicitly, but man, let it do the heavy lifting and just verify. Yes, these are vintage. And then we're going to go through. We're going to hit these, had some issues. We're going to hit fair. I'm going to say a couple of stains shown in photos. This is where I always put my flaws, is in the actual condition description. Good structural condition, no attempts made to clean. I put that because, you know, some of these stains may come out, you know, just kind of gives a little bit of a background to the image. Or to the item you're selling. Then I'm going to go through here. I'll put in my pricing, whatever that may be. I'm just putting stuff in now, but you just kind of show you how it goes. This is something that's a little different if you're doing lots. Make sure you go ahead and put in your lot, make it sell as a lot, and do that. That'll help you out in the listings. Make sure you got this in. This will be probably $7.99 flat rate. And then these are made in like Sri Lanka, I think, if I remember right. Sri Lanka. That's why you want to take pictures of the tags so you can refer, good clear pictures of the tags so you can refer back to them. You want to put the origin because it helps for international buyers. Some of these countries require it. They won't even show your listing in that country if you don't have it. But put in your ad rate that you decide. Boom, there you go. You'll be done. So when you go through here, you want to do every one of those all in one lick. You want to get in a groove like you see me doing. It's easier once you start doing something to move to the next and do the same thing, move to the next and do the same thing. We're going to get repetitions going so we become accurate with it, and we're not switching gears every time you turn around and go into something else and throwing off our groove we've got going here. So we're going to go through there. We're going to type in all of those, get all those going. And then once we get through all of that and we've got all of our statuses checked off as good, we're going to move on to step 4, which is going to be to get together our main listings like you see here, our main photo for our listing like you see here. And for that, we're going to pop back over to the phone and we're going to open up our app to the Photoroom app. And I'll go ahead and pop that up on the screen now. All right, guys, so we're going to come on over here to Photoroom and open that up on our phone. I do have Pro. I do enough to where I need to get the Pro section of it, but it's totally worth it. The price varies. I don't even know what it's up to now. I think you can get a month trial for $5.99 or it's like $9.99 a month. It's totally worth it. It makes your photos look a ton better. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to generate all of our photos here. Batches. Let's say if you ran a batch and you did all these photos all at once, it doesn't save it to where we can pull it back up on our computer and easily get them over to the listings themselves. I've just found that this is the easiest way to do it. So we're going to go to the home here. We're going to start from a photo. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go to the camera roll. We're going to go to, you can start from the top. It doesn't really matter where you start from. Just make sure you get all the photos. This one in particular, that's the back end. You want to take the front photo. Now this is actually a lot like I showed you, so this is kind of a little bit of advice for a lot. I have a template made for mine to where it automatically kind of shrinks them down a little bit, and then it also puts my logo up there because I've had some issues with people stealing my photos. But when I do lots, this is the way I like to do mine. I like to put one of them there, and then the other one on this one, I like to go through here. And so the main thing here that you want to make dang sure of is you want to resize yours, and you want to make sure it's good for eBay sizing. So you want eBay's to be a square. That's what they prefer. Mine's automatically. My template's set up to do that. But I'm going to, since I'm doing a lot, I'm going to go ahead and grab my second photo. This was 2 pair of shorts. They were both real similar, both Polo Ralph Lauren, both the same sizes. So this is how I do my lots. So I'm going to stretch. You can drag and move things around. This is why I like this app. It's very versatile. But I like to do mine this way. I like to make sure everything's lined up. It'll show you the brackets of all the borders and everything. And I like to do it kind of like that. Have one right there, and then I've gone a little bit further on mine, and I've got some of these saved. I've gone through and got a bunch of these brand logos for ones that I use very often. I like to go ahead and come over here. I think it just makes it look a little bit snazzier. If I'm doing Polo Ralph Lauren, I do a lot of polo. It's one of the things that I target because I can get it for really good prices where I'm at. I like to pop that over in the corner. Oh, come on now. Down there. pop it over into the corner. And I've been experimenting lately. You can just do white backgrounds. There's no problem with that. But I've been doing a little bit of experimenting lately with different color backgrounds. I think it makes it pop a little better. I'll let you know what comes up from that, what I end up finding, if that ends up working better or worse. But you want to finish it up from there. Main thing is you want a neutral, one-colored background from what I've found. And then you want to have it, you know, the main photo nice and nestled in real good. It makes it look professional. It makes you look professional, and it's so little effort. You just saw how easy it was for me to add all those. I did go ahead of previously, and I got all the labels together, or the cutouts together for the ones I have. I can do a whole video just in how to work Photoroom for you doing this kind of stuff. But this is just kind of like a crash course in what I do. You just want a plain background. The main things, the things that you want to take away from this: plain black background, or plain background. You want it to be square for eBay. And then you want to, that's really about it. You want it centered and looking nice in the middle. Then hit save. When you hit save, it's going to pop up over on your desktop version of Photoroom, and we'll check that out here in just a moment. But what you want to do from there is you just want to keep doing that. Once you hit save, you want to go back to home, start from photo, move on to the next one. And we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to, like I said, we're doing things in phases. The way I did these, I had this pair here. I'll do this one. This was also a lot, so I can just kind of show you how quick I can go with it. Once you make a template where it kind of automatically does a little bit for you, you get the groove of it. This is a lot, so I'm going to insert my other photo of my other item, which is going to be these, I believe. Yeah, make sure it's not the same color. If it's not the same color, I know it was these. Yeah, there's a little bit of difference in color there. So I take these like I did there. Phone's running a little bit slower because I've got on the record function there. I'll tell you one thing you want to do if you're doing lots, just make sure your sizing makes sense. Make sure you've got, if you're going to shrink one thing, shrink the other as well. Kind of line them up over each other and make sure it all lines up together. It didn't look goofy. Like one pair of shorts is way bigger than the other pair of shorts. You don't want to do that. But I do mine that way. And then these are Polo Ralph Lauren once again, so I'll go ahead and quickly insert my Polo Ralph Lauren cutout, wherever that is. There it is. And then these are darker, so I personally, I'm going to put these on a little bit darker background. Or these are light, so I'm going to put these on a darker background. I don't like that. That's okay. Too light. Doesn't really matter. We'll just leave it the way it is. We'll do like, it's too light. We'll do these. The way it accentuates them real nice. But then we'll hit save. So you see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do that for every one of these. Or you would. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next step here. But we'll get from here, and the next step here is we're going to move on over back to the computer and pull up Photoroom on our computer. All right, so we're on to finishing up our main listings, or our main photo for our listings. We're going to come on over to here. So you're going to go over to Photoroom on the computer in the browser, and I can, like I said, I'll have a link to that down in the description. But come on over to Photoroom in the browser, and once you go to there, you're going to log in, get logged in, keep that logged in, and you're going to come on over down to, you'll see what we were just working on the phone is already up over here. This is why you want to do this way. It's just, it's the easiest way in my opinion. The way I like to do it is, in theory, you would have all the ones you've been working on here, all the main photos that you've finished up and you have together. And then the easiest way that I do it is I have two screens. My left-hand screen, I will have up the listings we're working on, and then my right-hand screen, I'll have up my Photoroom so that I can easily go back and forth. But so since we only have one here, I'll show you, or just in case you only use one screen, I'll show you how to do it that way. But you'll click on the one you were working on. We're going to hit download. And you can do any little edits on here too if it's easier for you to do on the computer, but it just gets you over to the computer. It gets it onto the computer easily. Like I said, if you do batches, these will not show up on the computer as a draft. They're just going to be on your phone. So you want to do it individually like that. It doesn't really matter what you put the file name, just hit download. And so you've got this here. See, this is downloaded. Then I'm going to come back over here to my create listings, my listings we've been working on, and this is this one. So I'll hit edit. I'll go to the very last thing I've downloaded. I'm just going to straight drag it from that download over to the bar here where I got my stuff. Then from there, I'm going to drag it on up to the main photo. Now you want to make sure you see down here where it had said just now, it said auto saved. Make sure it auto saves before you hit done. That way it will update it. If you don't wait till it says auto save, it's not going to save what you just did. Then we'll come over here. We'll move down to the next one. We'll go ahead and do the exact same thing. We'll rinse and repeat here, right? So we're going to come back over to create. We'll go back to home. We know this one is this one. We'll come here and we'll hit download. Doesn't matter. Download. Okay, now we got that in our downloads. Now we're going to take the last thing in our download bar. Boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Now it's there. Wait for we see the auto save. Auto saves. So now you've completed the whole process of getting these done. So if I haven't done all the rest of these yet, I'm just doing this for this video, but I'll go through, I would have already had all of these completely filled out from step 3. And then in the beginning of step 4 there, I would have already have gotten all of my photos over here into this app, and I would just go through and do this one by one by one by one by one, so I get a nice groove working where I can do this in succession, pick up some speed doing it. Bam, 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 bam. And then you're ready to post. What you can do from here, what I like to do is I like to schedule these things out. I do some for one day. I'll hit what I'll do is I'll do about 15 or 20 of these at a time. In one go, and especially if you're wanting to kind of plan your week out, because you got to do this consistently. You got to do this daily if you're going to do eBay and some of these other platforms. They require consistency. They'll start dropping you in the rankings if you don't post daily. So you'll do, let's say, select up like 5 of them real quick. You want at least like 5 things going out a day. We'll hit our start time. We'll schedule a start time out. And here's a really cool tip for you. Let's say we want these to go out tomorrow. We're going to hit tomorrow. We're going to start them at like noon or so. And then we're going to hit space out multiple. And bam, we're going to hit 60 minutes. And that way, I'll show you now, those are going to start 1 hour at a time all day long. And it's going to keep refreshing and bringing me up into the top of the listings every once an hour. So it keeps my listings, or keeps my profile fresh. It shows that I'm active, and it keeps me from having to remember to come on here and post these things daily. I can just sit in one day, go through, knock out 15, 20 listings, select 5 of them, have them for tomorrow, go down, select another 5 of them, and have them go out for the next day, go to the next one, so on and so forth. That way I can pretty much knock out, if you really want to get with it and you want to spend a few hours one day processing all your inventory, bam, you can knock out all your inventory, schedule it all out for the week, and then get on to sourcing, or get on to spending time with your family, get on to playing video games, whatever you enjoy. You can get on to doing that and have this all nicely paced out, nicely spaced out, and nicely done in a way where you're going to keep your consistency without having to worry about it. And then, every few days you go on, you process some more, you get through the stuff you've got. Let's say, if you went out to the thrift store, you bought 20 items, you came back, the next day you sat and processed all 20 in the fashion that I just showed you. You schedule them out over the next 4 days. Bam, you got 4 days worth of listings coming out right then and there. You've shown eBay that you're going to be consistent about your stuff, and all your stuff gets online in a timely manner. You've got a process. That's what matters. Step 5 would be, and I'll show you a little bit into that, but once you post those things, I like to come on over to this program called CrossList. This is what I use for all of my cross-listing needs. And I'll make another video later on more in depth on how I use CrossList, but CrossList is phenomenal. This is what's going to make you some money when it comes to little input for a lot of output, a lot of bang for your buck. So you see how this works here? So you're going to come on over here to import. And if you've posted things, I think I've already imported my stuff for the day. But if you've posted things, let's say I hadn't posted, these are things that I just posted. These are already imported, but I would go through here and I would import everything that I've put. It's constantly looking at my eBay since I'm logged in on eBay on it. And it will, what does that say? Not yet imported. What's happening? Oh, okay. These are some things that I've delisted and relisted. But it'll also, this is the cool thing about it that it does that a lot of them don't do, is it will actually match up listings that I've delisted and relisted and go ahead and update those links so everything stays current on here. I love it. It works phenomenally. Now, you will have some issues here, like I changed the title of this one a little bit because it hadn't been selling and I wanted to kind of make it a little bit better. I'll have to go through and I'll have to delete the other one off of here and this be the new one or link it to the new one. That's a little bit of a different thing for another video, but you'll pull that over, and then what you want to do is, the cool thing here is you can search through a lot of different ways. So you make sure you have not sold, and let's say I want to get some stuff over onto Depop that I have on eBay, but I don't have on some of these other platforms, but I don't have it quite up on Depop yet. I've got North Face typed in, so we're going to come up here and uncheck that. I was looking at something earlier, but so we'll go down through here and we'll look. I don't have that on Depop. That needs to go on Depop. I don't have this on Depop. I don't have this on Depop. Keep going and look around. This isn't on there. This isn't on there. This isn't on there. That's not. Cool thing here is all I got to do is select them. I got 9 things selected. All right. And I can just hit bulk post to Depop, and since I have it filtered by Depop, I'm just going to do that because I don't know what I have it on other things. Some of these things are already on Facebook, say post and relist. We don't want to do all that on here. So just Depop, and bam, hit post. Would you look at that? It does all the heavy lifting for me. Let's say if I just did all of those listings, well, let's see here, we got an issue. It'll even tell you if there's an issue. Okay, it doesn't weigh, weight's greater than 10 pounds, modifier shipping weight, or make package lighter. It is a very heavy leather jacket, so that's why it's doing that. I'll have to change some stuff around. We've got our pants here pulled in, already posted over to Depop. We've got our, and you can do this. The cool thing is if I didn't have this stuff on all these other platforms, like I'll show you right now. Cancel the pending. When this one finishes up, I'll show you what's up with it. There's some of the stuff I haven't cross-posted across everybody. Having a little bit of a issue with Facebook at the moment, so I won't really be able to show you cross-listing to Facebook. I've got a whole nother segment I've got planned on explaining what I've figured out on Facebook. Facebook is an enigma. I make a lot of money on Facebook. I've just about doubled my revenue selling on Facebook via shipping, but man, is Facebook a giant pain in the rear when it comes to doing some of this stuff. Holy moly. It is just a nightmare. These are sold. I'm not going to put those up. I need to make sure, actually. I didn't put up anything that's sold in other places. There's another thing too. When something sells on here, it's got auto detection. It's a little bit. It's in kind of got an offer on Facebook. It's in kind of a beta state right now. They're perfecting it, but it works pretty good. But let's say if something's sold, all I got to do, and I'll tell you, I'll go ahead and I'm going to accept this offer from this person on Facebook real quick. Let me see real quick here. Give me just a moment. I hate to accept this offer just to do this. It's not the most amazing of all offers. I do free shipping on there, so I really have to keep that in mind for some of this stuff. I've just found that free shipping works the best on Facebook. I don't know why people sort by it. It just is what it is. I'm doing some experimenting. We'll find out if I've got some things listed for shipping included. I got some things not including shipping and separate shipping, and I'm kind of watching them to see how they go. But so I'm doing some experimenting there. I think I do actually have something to. One of these did sell. We'll just go down to that, and we'll do that here. I'll say the North. No. I think it was I need to delist these either anyway. These are American Eagle. It's the cool thing about CrossList. It's real easy to sort a couple of various ways. Wow, did it automatically detect those? No, it didn't. Oh, gotta take this off. American Eagle. These sold. So I need to go on here and I need to hit delist. They sold on Facebook. Cool thing is I just select everybody but Facebook. Easily delists everything from all these other platforms for me. And then you see it's just on Facebook. And then I'm going to go on to here and I'm going to say I'm going to add a sell. You've got so many options to keep up with all your analytics. We did end up selling them for $35. I didn't take any shipping for them. They were free shipping. I paid $3 altogether for these two. And then I'm going to go ahead and put cost of goods was $3. Collected shipping was $0. I'll buy a shipping label later on and I'll fill in my shipping expense, but I know my I'll look over here real quick and see what my fee. Actually, I would type in my fees later. I'll put on all this information later, but it'll tell me it keeps up with all my profit and everything for it. And it goes ahead and now it's gone because I'm sorted by sold and not sold. So just a little quick brief overview into CrossList. I think it is an amazing thing to have. It has gained me so much money. This is not totally accurate, but we'll take a look down through here. I used to primarily just sell on eBay, and in the last couple days alone, look at all these Facebooks. Look at all these Depops. And I'm having issues with Facebook. I can't even very well sell on Facebook right now. Got a couple of Poshmarks. We've got some duplicates I've got to fix here, but a couple of Poshmarks. I've got all of this. Very few eBay, to be totally honest. All of this money I made because I was using CrossList. This one sell right here paid for my month because I do the maximum where you can do unlimited listings. It cost me $50 a month. This one sell paid for my entire month of CrossList. Everything else I would never have made if I didn't have CrossList. So check out the description below for that one. And definitely please use my affiliate link. I do get some monetary value from that, and it helps an immense amount. Plus, you heard it here from me, so give me the credit for it. But we'll move on over to back to the table or the photo table and wrap up here. All right, well, there you have it. That is a full comprehensive breakdown on how I put things on the internet. If I look tired, it's 2:17 in the morning. I have been making and editing this video for the last like 5 hours, and I want to get it up before I want to finish it up before the morning or before tomorrow so that I can have it rendering tonight. But if you learn something, if you have a question about something, if there's anything that I can alliterate on further, which I doubt, this ended up being over an hour long, leave me a comment below. This is my first real tutorial video that I've made, so hopefully we're only going to get better from here. I've learned at this point. I've tried to make a video like this countless amounts of times, and I never end up posting it online because I want to sit and tweak and sit and tweak and sit and tweak. And this is my attempt at doing the best I can in one shot and putting it online and not worrying about it and learning from this, getting feedback from you wonderful people, and adapting from there, because I'd like to put out more content like this. I think there are some things in here that you can learn from that I had to learn the hard way and the crash course way, and I think it's good information. So once again, I've got an affiliate link for Photoroom down below, and I've also got an affiliate link for CrossList. Both really good programs. I get a lot of use out of them. Check them out if you if you want to check out those programs. Please use those links below. I do get something from that. I really appreciate it. And like I said, leave me a comment. Tell me how I did. I know I've used a lot of words repetitively. I'm going to work on that. I've been editing this video for the last couple of hours. Oh, man, I've got some work to do on that. But got to start somewhere. So let me know what you think. Thanks a ton. Once again, this is Joseph with Joseph's Bizarre Adventure. Catch you in the next one.